welcome to another ARC review. Now this is an ARC review of The Carnival of Carnage by the Sisterhood of the Black Pen, which sounds just, even the title alone just sounds extremely intriguing. But ARC calls went out for this in one of the horror ARC groups that I'm in on Facebook, and seeing the cover, I couldn't not say, yes, I'm a little reviewer, I'd like a little copy if I could be so bold and ask. Because I always feel so, like I'm asking for something that I have no right asking for when I ask for an ARC book. It won't stop me from asking for it, but there is always that, who the hell am I kind of thing. But I got me a copy, and I'm so glad that I did. So without further ado, let's get into the blurb. Come one, come all to the carnival call of sirens and mazes, terror for all. Tickets are free, but you'd best beware. The exit is closed, there's no hope for you there. Turn the lights off, curl up somewhere safe, and dive into a new collection of twisted tales by the mistresses of horror at the Sisterhood of the Black Pen. An anthology featuring female indie horror authors. Twisted Tales of Halloween Carnival of Carnage is the perfect blend of horror and spice to set you up for spooky season. Across the fairgrounds, the wind blows cold on a deserted landscape of thrills and chills. On Halloween, the veil between the living world and the dead is dangerously thin. What happens when these two collide? We have your ticket ready if you dare to punch it. A trapped siren, journals of memories long forgotten, pumpkin seeds that grow new beginnings bathed in blood. Every story in this hauntingly beautiful anthology has its own twist with characters you'll be rooting for and some you'll riot against. Which it did. Now it has trigger warnings. It has trigger warnings of amnesia, suicide, self-harm, domestic violence, blood, gore, death, cheating, non-con and dub-con. And it is horror. So this is an anthology of 8 separate horror stories. This is an ARC review, so there will be no spoilers. I will go through and say a little about each story, which was my favourite, a little about the story that hopefully will intrigue you. So the first up is a story called Pumpkin Seeds by A.C. Salazar. And this is a tale of a 1940s husband getting his just desserts and finally freeing his long-suffering wife of his abusive behaviour. Now this was my second favourite story in the whole anthology. I really liked it. I liked the background, I liked the build-up, I liked what happens, I like how it ends. I liked everything about that little short story. Now the second story is called Masked Plans by R.C. Lehan. I hope I said these author names right. I'm probably going to butcher them, but bear with me. And in this, 4 best friends go to the carnival. Everybody is dressed up for Halloween. And these are Daphne, Jenna, Lynette and Emily. And after a while when they're going on these rides, Daphne notices that there is a strange figure watching her on every ride. Always in the shadows. Can't see his face, can't see what he looks like, can't see the shape of him. It's the shape of a man, always in the dark, and always watching just her. And she kind of brushes this off until her friends start to go missing. I did like this. I thought the build-up to it was quite good, quite atmospheric. The ending, it was a bit predictable. And I've said it many times, I don't like to be able to predict what happens. But it doesn't take away from me liking the story. Now, the next story up is Carnival Prey by Sarah Traller, and I'm not going to really go into this one because I didn't like it. It just didn't hit for me. It's got an unreliable narrator, it's got shifting memories, and it just didn't, for me, if I could have skimmed it, I would. It just did not hit the notes for me. But you can't win them all. Now, following on from that one is, the next story is The Paper Man, Dahlia Blackwell. And this was my favourite story in the entire anthology. I really liked this one, so much so that I'm going to see what else the author has actually written. our characters, they go into a tent at the carnival that's a bit odd, and them just walking into this tent sets into motion a torment of unstoppable events. And every page in this, I was just like, no, no, oh, because I loved it. And it was because of these reactions that I had to it that I did love it, and I will definitely be reading it again. Now the next one, I could take it or leave it. The next one is called Cru de Désir. I probably butchered that because it's probably supposed to be said with a French accent. And that's by Christina Lee. And this is set in New Orleans, and it is dark vampire orgy smut. I'm not one for dark romance. I'll read it if I'm in the mood for it, but it rarely hits for me. No, just I didn't care for it. Extremely spicy, but it just didn't for me. It didn't get me going. It didn't warm me up. So the next one is a story called Lost and Found by Lizzie Stray, and this is I found it to be a repeat of tropes that have been done before, where there is amnesia and a woman is married to a guy that some things start feeling a bit off with. And you can kind of tell where it's going. I mean, it is a trope that has been done countless times before. It doesn't do anything new with it. It's just, but it is a good read. It's a quick, you like it. I liked it. I knew where it was going. I knew what was going to happen. I could make an educated guess at what it was going to be like. But that didn't stop me enjoying reading the book. So next up we have The Rage of a Lioness by Faye Jekyll. And I did enjoy reading this one. It explores how a person's perspective can be manipulated by their interpretation of events, which doesn't necessarily reflect what actually happened. I thought it did a very good job in trying to describe how these things are. I think it was just very, very good. And what happens at the end of it is like, it is very twisty. So the last story is called Cold Sea Foam by Nico Silva, and this has sirens, selkies and wolves. Oh my. I did enjoy this. I thought it was a very good take on what happens. I thought it was a very good take on what could happen to creatures that come into contact with humans and what humans can do to them if given half a chance. I really enjoyed this one. So this being an anthology, this book was a 50-50 split for me on whether I liked the stories or whether I didn't, whether I will reread them or whether I never want to read them again. As I said, the two that I really, really loved were The Pumpkin Seeds and The Paperman. Those two caught my attention, they caught my imagination. They were so atmospheric, and out of all of them, I just wish those two would have been longer. I wanted more from them. Because I enjoyed them so much, I wanted it to go on for longer. Now, all of these 8 stories are set in a carnival. Not exactly the same one, but they are all set in a carnival. And I think if they weren't set in a carnival, if they were set somewhere else but still had the same kind of plot, I don't think they would have been as good as what they are. There's something about a carnival, especially near Halloween, and I can probably thank a lot of 90s horror movies for that. Now, I've been to a few, you could call it a carnival, but I really wouldn't call it a carnival. It's been in the town, but it's not really a carnival per se. And it's always been in the daytime. So I've never actually been to a carnival at night in the dark. So if this book seems to be something that you would enjoy reading, I will put the link down below where you can check it out for yourself. But I do recommend it is a very, very good read. Some of the stories that hit for me might miss for you, and some of them that missed for me might hit for you. So I will link that down below, and you'll have to let me know if you do check it out. But as always, keep reading.